Hello, welcome, Cabbage here. In Monster Strike, let's look at the Tower of Champions East, and then this time we'll be looking at floor 23. And then I'm going to give this floor its own video, because it's kind of an iconic floor, and I lost a lot here. And then also, because it is now light element, the different number of characters that we can bring in here is much, much greater. So I had to experiment a lot with team building in order to come up with this one here. But first is Key, and I used her in my free party clear when I did the original one that was wood element, and she's just a bounce with the Deity Slayer, still very strong here. I remember back in the day there was debate about who was better in here, Key or Fire Dragon. The advantage that Key has is that her strike shot is better. The advantage that the Fire Dragon has was the element advantage. Now the element advantage is gone, so Key is definitely better for this East version of the Tower of Champions. Second up is Saito Hajime. He's from the Rurouni Kenshin collaboration. He is a bounce with no warp and then the Deity Slayer. And then becomes a pure strike shot, which is pretty good for this mission. Next up is Malik. I was kind of wondering how good he was going to be in here. He is a light character, so he doesn't get the element advantage, and then he doesn't have any slayers either. But I was thinking that his speed up bump combo would be really good, and then I was hoping his strike shot, which can hit everybody on screen, would also be good, so we'll keep an eye out for that. Also, he has a super no warp to raise his attack when there are warps on screen. But as we can see here, there are times during the levels where there are no warps, so no attack bonus for him. And then our super important single hatcher monster, this is going to be Aegis. He is a bounce, no warp, and then light slayer, so yeah, good damage from him in here. Maybe also just as important though, he has the light resistance. There is lots of damage coming our way during this quest, so especially for dark characters, light resistance is going to be important. And then, yeah, I tried a bunch of characters in here. I also tried Dark Muramasa. He's another bounce, no warp, dark character with the light resistance. Also with speed up. I think he would be also a very good member to use in here. I also tried out Naohi. She's just a bounce with the no warp, dark. But nothing special about her in here. I also tried Judas. She doesn't have the no warp, just a bounce, but she does have the Deity Slayer, and then a pretty strong strike shot. But I eventually got her out of my team because her gauge was too fast, and then her Deity Slayer's on the gauge, so that was kind of important. And then playing with so many drop characters, it can be tricky, the gauge in particular. Because all of these characters have kind of like different speed gauges. It's not that the fast gauges are more difficult to hit, it's just they're all different speeds, so you have to really pay attention in order to get the gauge shot. But we're playing this pretty much the same as we always would. Take down the little guys when we can, because they have the one-hit KOs, and then do damage to the boss when we can. And then we're going to keep an eye on the right number on the boss, because that is a very damaging attack. So we want near full HP or before we get hit by it, and then we also want to heal after we get hit by it, so there's also some heart management in here. Oh, another thing about Aegis is that he has a homing bump combo, which is really strong, and I think the Light Slayer goes into that as well. So it is worth hitting him to get some damage out. But yeah, this one is pretty tough. At least 10 runs, I think, with lots of different characters. But yeah, it was fun. Reminded me of the old days, like I said in the other video. And then, yeah, I am using lots of collaboration characters in these tower runs. And then that was kind of the first thing that I thought about when the Tower of Champions East was announced. I kind of had a mini heart attack, and I was wondering if I had gotten as many of the limited time drop monsters as I could. because they have lots of like funky element and null ability combinations that you can't find in other just regular drop characters, and also slayers. So I really want to make sure that I have all of the limited time drop monsters. And then moving ahead, you know, we have the Tower of Champions East here. They're going to release West, North, and South as well, and then they're going to be shifting the elements every time. So we're going to end up with 5 towers, and then every floor of the tower is going to get its own element treatment. So yeah, that's going to be lots of chances to use lots of different drop monsters, I think. I'm going to try to make videos of at least all of the East Tower with free monsters. My dream is to make it for all of them, all of the 5 towers, but we'll see how my patience and my attention span holds out. But for now, it's been pretty interesting. Okay, so we're entering the boss stages. And then here, I think the boss's ultimate attack is not just really big damage, it's like a one-hit KO, so we do want to take down the boss as soon as we can. Okay, great damage from the direct attacks and the bump combos. One thing I was kind of surprised about losing so many times in this stage was that the poison is pretty damaging. I don't seem to remember that from all of the other times that I used to play this, but yeah, it was an issue this time. And then I found that being pretty aggressive with my shots. Usually I like to do like real shallow angles and then concentrate damage on just 1 or 2 little guys at a time. But I found for this run, that kind of, you know, getting all around the screen and spreading the damage around, it helped out. And yeah, I think Aegis's homing was kind of an MVP here. Okay, here let's use a Saito Strike Shot. Becomes a Pierce. It's really strong, but it doesn't look like it in this instance here. But yeah, in other runs that I did with him, it was always really good. Okay, great damage there from Aegis. Very tempting to use the Strike Shot here, but let's not do that. And then Key, I still feel like she has some of the best ball art in the game. I really like how that looks. Yeah, so here's another crazy angle. Let's just get around. Get the speed up from Malik. Let's grab the attack up. That will be really great for Malik's Strike Shot in particular. And last stage here. I always liked Aegis, even before he got his Transcendent form. Just a, you know, bounce, no warp with the Element Slayer, but really good character. Alright, so there is Key's Strike Shot. Kind of a big explosion on first impact. Has not aged too well, though. There are stronger Strike Shots out there now. And then Saito Hajime, he is good, but his Deity Slayer is just regular. It's not M or L, so he could have done more damage. But let's use Malik's Strike Shot. It's a speed and power up, and then when he stops moving, shoots the Phoenix out and then hits everybody on screen. Very, very powerful strike shot. And yeah, that was good enough to take down most of the little guys, and also do some good damage on the boss. And then, although we don't need it, we'll use Aegis's power and speed up, and then take down the boss. Okay, so that was floor 23. That was pretty difficult, but it was fun to figure out a good team, and then use some characters that I really haven't used that much. Okay, thanks for watching, and we'll see you again. Take care.